Holly Borchers. I'm a counselor at Jefferson High School, and I nominated Tyler Engelson and Janell Mills for Staff Stars. Tyler Engelson is principal at Joe Foss, and Janell Mills is the counselor at Axtell, in charge of Joe Foss. Axtell Park is a building, and inside of it are many different programs that are designed to help students in different ways. They have programs for middle school students, high school students, and with high school in particular, they're working with students who might be off pace to graduate on time in 4 years, and they get really creative in finding ways to help them accelerate credit accumulation and finish on time. There are a lot of different reasons. A lot of times it has to do maybe with moving, and because they've moved so much they haven't been able to carry credits from one school to another. Maybe they've had a significant event in their family that has kept them home for an extended period of time or something, so they've been out of school. It just kind of depends. Everybody has their own way to Axtell, but once they're there, I know that especially at Joe Foss, they're doing everything they can to get them back on pace. So we have students that have housing instabilities, food instabilities. A lot of times kids are having to work just like a regular adult works lots of hours a week, and then school kind of becomes secondary because they're trying to help provide for their families. So Axtell can kind of fill in some of those gaps, help them finish their education. If you're a student at Lincoln, Roosevelt, Washington, Jefferson, and we've identified you as a good candidate for a Joe Foss program, you have a meeting there with Tyler, and they help come up with a plan for you. So that could be online platforms, could be CTE classes, could be a combination of classroom in person with a teacher and online, or it could be the GED depending on your age. Since we have relationships with these students and we've been trying at the traditional high school level to help find a path to graduation, sometimes we just run out of options. We run out of semesters and we can't fit the credits a kid needs into a schedule to be able to make that happen. We turn to our friends at Axtell and say, hey, do you think you've got a plan that we can help this kid with accelerating their credits and help them finish on time? And that's what they do so well. What Tyler does really well is he takes the time to get to know students, and he's really creative with finding ways to meet them where they're at. His approach is really clear and consistent. Students know where they stand and what they need to do to be successful, and he's so knowledgeable about the different platforms and programs available, whether that's through online coursework, CTE classes, courses in the classroom, or GED. And he's good at communicating that with parents and also with staff to come up with a plan. And the tone he sets there makes for a really welcoming environment. Staff there are so hardworking, and they're able to help students in ways that they're really difficult to pull off in a traditional high school. Tyler puts in a ton of time helping out in all the areas of the building, yet he has this way of still being able to have relationships with all the students, and they go to him for a lot of things. And the same with Janell. She's very similar in her work ethic. I think she's at work at 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m., I don't know, but she's a crazy hard worker. She's got a lot of motivation to see kids be successful. Her door is always open, and I don't know if there's a limit to her creativity. In addition to providing like all that personal and individual support she does for students, she's also running groups. She runs groups on self-care, career exploration, and another one I know she does called Living on Your Own. And she's a very humble person. She wouldn't admit this to you, but she's very musically talented, and she uses those musical gifts she has to help students find their voice, which can be a path to healing for a lot of them. And she runs this event, it's called Vision and Voice, and it showcases artistic talents of her students for the public, and it's a really cool event that she does every year. During COVID, Tyler and Janell, they never stopped working on behalf of kids, and we saw so many students finish with high school diplomas at Axtell despite all the obstacles to graduation. And I know they helped graduation rates across the district with that work, and we're just so very thankful for both Janell and Tyler, and so very fortunate that they're able to work with our students and we are able to work alongside them. I think a lot of times when kids are presented with Joe Foss as an option, they sometimes feel like, oh, you don't think I'm gonna finish, you don't think I can do it, and really it's quite the opposite. We tell them the reason why we think Joe Foss would be a good option for you is because we believe in it so much, because we know the great things that can happen there if students are committed to attending and they can find a way to do that. They will find success there, no doubt. They're always working with those relationship pieces. They're so very good at those relationships, and we also have success coordinators in all of our buildings that also do such a good job at that. And they together, you know, when they all combine those forces, I think kids really feel supported, and the staff there is so welcoming. And I always like to say it's like chronic amnesia. I mean, if they haven't seen a kid in a while, they're not gonna put them down. They're just gonna welcome them and say, hey, I'm so glad you're here today. Let's see what work we can get done and see what progress we can make. And once you start getting a little forward traction and you feel like people care about you, I mean, great things can happen. I'm really inspired by how hard they work, and I know that it can be a job where you probably feel like, man, we work so hard and we don't always see the success, but when there is success, it's big, it's really big. It's despite a lot of obstacles and roadblocks, and I hope they just know how much we appreciate them.